Hello Collection! Welcome to the stream! Ka-chung. How are you doing today? I'm doing good as well, actually. I can't say the same for every day that's passed, but no, actually, yeah, no, I'm doing okay. The weekend was a little rough because we had a work thing, pretty big event going on, so that was rather tiring. But I've actually been doing better during the week, strangely enough, so far. But yes, for now, let's relax a bit with some game playing. Oh yeah. No, I understand. We all have very different time zones, so yeah, absolutely understandable. Have a good night as such. Over here it's a little past 6 p.m. It's GMT +2 right now, so for me it's just the beginning of the evening, which is the reason for the timing of the stream. Yep. Thank you. Okay, voices. Well, I understand you are the judicial assistant to the defense, but why this sudden ingress into my courtroom?
Ah, judicial assistant? And a woman, no less. The rules state that females are not permitted into this court of law other than to testify.
Yes, I fully understand. I ask only for 5 minutes of time. I have some vital evidence that I must hand over to the defense.
You're too late, little girl. This trial has already been concluded.
5 minutes. I will not allow a moment more.
But, Your Excellency!
I am most grateful.
Who exactly are you?
I'm sorry, there's no time. Please simply accept this for now.
What is it? A report about something? Written in English?
It's Giselle Brett's research.
The English woman's?
After the trial resumed earlier, I hurried back to the university. I went to Dr. Wilson's laboratory in the medical faculty and borrowed this paper.
Oh yes, that's right. Miss Brett was studying under the professor, wasn't she? So, does this research, whatever it is, have something to do with the case?
I'm afraid I don't know. I haven't been able to listen to the proceedings of the trial myself.
Oh, no, of course not. Special characteristics of curare and its effects on human subjects. Interesting. Curare? What's that? I've never heard that word before.
Time's up. The prosecution demands the immediate removal of this female trespasser from the courtroom.
There was too little time for me to read it in detail, but I've summarized what I could on a note just inside the cover. If you think it could be valuable, please cast your eyes over it.
This is wonderful. Thank you. Giselle's report has been entered into the court record. A report detailing an unknown poison that Miss Brett has been researching during her time at Yume University.
Goodbye then. and good luck.
You have had long enough, Counsel. We cannot detain our English guest any longer. I ask the prosecution and the defense now one last time. Does either side have any further evidence to present to the court? I presume not, but...
The prosecution has made its case convincingly enough already. Nothing more to add, Your Excellency.
Yunosuke, we're out of options here. This really is our very last chance.
Yes, I know. Your Excellency, the defense does have new evidence.
But look. The unyielding stare of a true Japanese warrior. Well, Miss Brett,
Yes, Your Excellency.
if you wouldn't mind, perhaps you could grace us with your presence a little longer?
It's a delightful invitation, but I'm afraid it's not so very long until tea time.
Forgive me, Miss Brett. It seems I wasn't clear. I realize it was phrased as a question. However, I must ask you to treat that as an order. Oops. And back. Sorry, just the phone. Okay.
I've said it many times before, but the Japanese language makes no sense.
My apologies, dear lady. So, counsel, what is this new evidence that demands the court's attention?
Miss Giselle Brett, we understand you were studying under Dr. Wilson at UMay University doing research. Research, by sheer coincidence perhaps, into a deadly poison.
What? Poison? Where are you going with this, counsel? A toxin known as curare, Your Excellency. Even the slightest amount of this deadly poison entering the body leads to instant death.
What? What complete and utter nonsense! Curare, you say? I've never even heard of it.
You wouldn't have done.
What do you mean?
I mean that you wouldn't have heard of curare before for one very simple reason. It doesn't exist in our country. It doesn't exist?
Correct. Which means, no matter what tests the police can do for toxins, they'd never identify curare. Why? Because there is no test available here that can identify the presence of this highly deadly poison.
What?
Order, order, order! Counsel, does this deadly poison truly exist? According to this report authored by the visiting research student from England, curare has long been used by the tribespeople of South America as a poison to lace their arrows. It seems that it's reasonably well known among European doctors and scientists.
To lace their arrows?
The report states that it is produced from the extract of a tree that grows deep in the Amazonian jungle, and it was first brought back to Europe at the turn of the century by explorers. It claims that animals shot by arrows laced with curare suffer instant death. Doesn't that about sum it up, Miss Brett?
Thornbury, there's aspersions are utter trumpery. To start with, if the victim had been administered some of this so-called deadly poison, he would have been squirming and writhing in pain, and the other diners would have surely noticed.
That's true. What do you say to that, Inspector? Obviously, I would have noticed a disturbance like that. I don't remember anything like that either. I didn't notice the professor being in any kind of pain. According to this, however, it's the other way around.
What do you mean, the other way around?
The very fact that the victim didn't show any visible signs of distress is evidence that Curare was used. Explain yourself, Counsel. The moment this toxin enters a person's system, it causes instant paralysis. In other words, afflicted victims lose all strength and are completely unable to move. Even if they were in total agony, there would be no visible signs of pain at all. How terrible! Obviously, if a man lost all strength in his muscles, he'd collapse on the floor. But with a chair under him for support, as Dr. Wilson did, the effects could go largely unnoticed. But I don't follow, Kazuma. That's just paralysis. I thought the poison caused instant death. The full explanation is extremely unpleasant. The poison causes immediate paralysis, as I said, leaving the victim unable to move. But after a short time, the paralysis is so severe, it causes the muscles that control respiration to fail. Respiration? In other words, the actual cause of death is suffocation. And all the while, the victim is conscious and aware, just unable to move.
That's hideous.
To the observer, it would look almost like the victim was slipping peacefully into an endless sleep. But for the victim himself, his final moments would be a living hell. That is the true nature of this deadly Curare poison. And you're suggesting that this bottle, Counsel, actually contains this terrifying poison?
This is all very convenient, isn't it? A hitherto unknown poison, for which there is no means of testing. What a happy tale for the defense.
If I may...
All these facts. You think you're so clever.
It is you who must be taught.
Of course. Dear lady.
So, this is how you Japanese behave, is it?
What?
You steal another's honest hard work and then announce the results as if you discovered them? I am appalled. What a loathsome act.
Well, Miss Brett, the feeling is mutual.
Whatever do you mean?
Capitalizing on the unfortunate circumstances of an innocent man to frame him for a heinous crime? That really is a loathsome act. Wouldn't you agree?
Enough of this. I, for one, refuse to accept it. The idea of some poison that doesn't even exist in the great empire of Japan is breaking the rules.
What's so funny?
Oh, excuse me. Your Excellency.
Yes, Miss Brett?
May I borrow that bottle for a moment, please?
Well, yes, I don't see, why not? Gonna do that test, huh?
Don't get too big for your boots, you insignificant little island boys.
Sorry?
To an Englishwoman such as myself, this whole affair is a farcical comedy. Your little police games and these foolish courtroom antics. It's laughable, really. But I'm getting bored of it all now. It's time for the games to end. Cheers!
Wait, what are you doing?
No sparkle left at all. How appropriate for this shabby affair. Goodness! Whatever is the matter? You all look quite stunned.
So, Nokurar. The bottle was clean, is what you were saying?
You look quite incredulous, little boy. But of course, that's the simple truth. Thank you for presenting the findings of my research so concisely here in this grand venue. Most kind.
Ah.
Thank you, waiter. Now then, Your Excellency.
Yes, Miss Brett?
I should like to be excused now, please. I think I've given more than enough of my time for the furtherance of friendship between our countries.
Yes, dear lady. We are most gratified with all the assistance you have given. This doesn't make sense. There had to have been poison in that bottle. So how? How did she swallow a whole glass and live to tell the tale? I don't understand it.
Well, I suppose if nothing else, this little Far Eastern charade will make for interesting conversation at the next party I attend in London.
There has to have been poison in that bottle, doesn't there? But there can't have been, because otherwise she would have keeled over dead. Come on, Yunosuke. We have all the clues now. That bottle of water. Can I check the record? I have an idea, a potential idea, but of course I may be absolutely wrong. Also, yeah, we haven't read this. Poison made from the bark of certain trees in the jungle of South America. The hunters of the region have used it since ancient times to incapacitate their prey. Effects: instant paralysis of the entire body and subsequent deaths, even in minute doses. Route of entry. The above-mentioned effects occur when the poison enters the body through a wound, such as that inflicted by a blowpipe dart. Very interesting. Due to its ability to render the... practical applications. Due to its ability to render the human body paralytic, it's believed that the toxin could have application as an anesthetic. However, a solution for the respiratory arrest caused as a result of the full body paralysis must be found first, or patients would die of suffocation. Okay. Yeah, I'm interested about the wound thing because I don't know where it was, but I'm thinking about the... Nope, that's still not here. Where did we... Oh yeah, there we go. We saw the burn thing. That makes me wonder if that could have been used. In which case... I don't know, maybe I'm thinking too far. But I mean, it doesn't absolutely need to be in the bottle itself. It could have been applied through something else, like the guy's own glass, I could assume. But yeah, right now I'm thinking the bottle actually does not contain the poison. As I thought! There is no poison in that bottle. What? Why, Ryunosuke? Isn't it obvious? If there was poison in there, she'd be dead by now. I don't know why, but I sense that's not gonna work out. Sometimes your unadulterated naivety really astounds me. But sometimes it's in need of a good staining, until it's as dark as your uniform and the ways of the world. Oh, is that what this color is supposed to represent? Okay, sounds like I did a boo-boo. That was a guileless ending to a promising line of inquiry, Counsel, for which you will be penalized. Well, first penalty of this case. This whole trial is poisoned. There has to have been poison in that bottle, doesn't there? Okay, Okay, so there was poison in the bottle then, huh? Thank you, game, for pushing me towards the right answer. Okay, so it contains poison. Well, I mean, there is still a possibility that the poison stops being effective after a while as well. That's the other possibility, I guess. Or maybe something else. The culprit did put Curare poison in Dr. Wilson's carbonated water. The defense refuses to change its position after trying to. You're serious?
Fool! Are you blind? There's no possible way that bottle could contain poison. I mean, we just saw
Miss Brett drinking the water from it?
That's right. Which rather complicates your argument, I think.
And I believe that complication can be explained. I need to think through all the things that don't quite add up here, one by one. I'm sure the answer is in the evidence we have in the court record somewhere. Very well. If the defense truly intends to assert this claim, then I must ask you to support the assertion with evidence. What explains how the witness was able to consume this supposedly poisoned water unscathed? Oh dear. And suddenly, not so sure. Wait, no. No. Wait, maybe? Jesus, I've seen a lot of stuff that could actually explain why it wasn't in the bottle and was still used, but so far... Okay. There is that thing though, why would she take the glass and put it in her bag? That's kind of remained a bit... I don't think that's ever been explained. I don't remember. I mean, we know how it came to be, supposedly, but it still doesn't explain why that happened. Oh no, actually they did... Well, no, okay, they did technically explain it as him already being dead. At least that was the initial idea. Sometimes stuff that's been supposedly proven during a case ends up not being quite how things happen. It just kind of serves as a temporary breach towards solving the case. Or at least, you know, staying in court and keeping the upper hand somehow. But label is written in a foreign language that I don't recognize. Do you know what it says, Kazuma? I think it's French. This must be very expensive water. Yes, but what does it say? That's what I was asking. Then go to France and ask. You could just say that you don't know. Okay. Is there anything else here? What is that? So this... oh, that's the water inside, okay. So this carbonated water is the last drink Dr. Wilson ever had. It looks like there's a little left in the bottle, although it's just plain water now. Okay. Interesting. Could that have anything to do with it? Again, the time of it. You know, I've been sweating so much, I'm absolutely parched. I'll just have a sip of this to keep me going. No, Yunosuke, you can't do that. For one thing, that's evidence. You can't go drinking evidence. Oh no, you're right. We don't know what might be inside, do we? You never cease to amaze me, Yunosuke. In more ways than one. I wonder... could there be anything in this water? What's the matter? You've gone quiet all of a sudden. I think I might have just worked something out. Yeah, okay. We've been there, Have I missed anything? I don't think I have, though, but... nothing at the bottom. So yeah, the water and the label. Also, there's still no explanation for the whole gun thing, now that I think about it. We still don't really know about that. Wow. Seriously getting stumped here. How explains how the witness was able to consume this supposedly poisoned water unscathed. Wait a minute, could it be that it doesn't work if it's ingested, actually? And we've just been all wrong about the... wait, does that even make sense? Wow. Okay, I'm gonna try this. I mean, if it's the right item, the game is gonna keep going. I kind of hate that. That's possibly the one thing that I find a little frustrating with this game series, is that sometimes you may get the right item, but not the right theory behind it. Of course, it's nice that the game can keep going even if you get it wrong, but you know, it never feels great when you actually did not understand. Reminds me of a very old adventure game like point-and-click stuff, where you would just randomly use items on whatever, and you know, sometimes it would just work, but you didn't actually go through the process of solving it. You just got lucky in a way. But again, without any obvious theory, I mean, I have a number of hypotheses. Again, there's the hand wound, the burn. Is that actually something that happened before and was used as a way to get the poison in? But that still wouldn't quite explain the whole bottle thing with the poison in it, I don't think. I also saw this, which supposedly Giselle should also have, since she is a student at the university. I don't know if she would not have one because she's from England, I don't know. And I mean, that would definitely be usable to, you know, prick the skin and then use that as an entry point. And finally, the other thing is, what was the other thing? I don't know actually what the other thing was. I mean, except maybe just the fact that it may have stopped being effective after some time has passed, but there's nothing really that says so as far as I can tell. So it would be kind of a poor proof. Above mentioned effects occur when the poison enters the body through a wound, such as that inflicted by a blowpipe dart. It doesn't really say it cannot, you know, work any other way, but I don't know, I'm gonna go with that, and we'll see. Oh, music didn't stop, that's never a good sign. Oh, unless... let's see. The answer to this riddle is right here in Miss Brett's own research report. Oh.
That's not a valid explanation.
No?
After all, we don't speak English. That That report is utter gibberish. This impudent young scoundrel is trying to ridicule the court, Your Excellency.
I'm not trying to ridicule anyone, honest. I'm just reading Susato-san's notes.
I concur. This report is too extensive to be considered in its entirety by the court. You will direct us to the pertinent section, counsel. Oh, okay, so maybe we're still on the right track then. Which section of the report reveals the alleged answer to this riddle? What was it again? Special characteristics, I think? Yeah, I think so. Hopefully that's what it is.
We've been hearing a lot about this Karar poison. And it's left me curious about something.
Okay, I'm just gonna do a small thing here. I'd love to hear the word spoken, actually. Can I get that done easily or not? Let's see. Because I'm really wondering if my pronunciation is correct or not. Pronunciation. Curare, apparently. Oh my god, it's gonna be super slow, right?
Curari or curari.
Oh really? Re, actually. Curari. Okay, good to know. Hopefully that's proper. Okay. Oh, counsel?
Well, it sounds as though indigenous hunters have been using this poison for years and years to lace the heads of the arrows that they shoot at whatever prey they're hunting.
So we've been led to believe, yes.
And the point of hunting is to catch prey to eat.
Oh, that's a good point.
Get to the point, please.
But if they were to use these laced arrows, doesn't that mean there would be traces of poison left in the prey the hunters were going to eat? Yes, good point. So, surely the hunters wouldn't want to eat their prey, would they? Because then they'd be eating poison.
Good gracious, counsel. No, that would be madness.
But I actually found the answer to that conundrum in this research paper here. Under special characteristics, it says this. The poison starts to work after entering the body through a wound.
Through a wound, you say? I see, that makes sense. Yes, the mention of that particular detail seemed a little strange to me, though. But it all makes sense when you interpret what's written like this. When curare enters the body through an open wound, it has terrifying poisonous effects. However, when it enters the body via the mouth, it has no poisonous effects whatsoever.
What?
Miss Brett, you authored this research. You knew curare's special characteristics. And you knew that you could make a spectacle of drinking that water without any danger to yourself.
You meddling little... rapscallion!
Well, Ryunosuke, it turns out you're an even better lawyer than I thought you'd be.
Really? Me? A lawyer?
All this poison talk is fascinating, I'm sure, but I fail to see how...
So, the ill-bred little puppy has a new toy to play with. Some facts he read in a book. But I'm afraid knowledge doesn't suit you, little boy. It only makes you look silly.
What are you trying to say?
Your schoolboyish logic has a fatal flaw.
Schoolboyish? Flaw?
As even your brain has managed to deduce, curare is safe to ingest. It seems likely that its effects are neutralized by the acidic nature of the gastric succus.
Oh, yeah, well, of course. Gastric suckers? What are they?
So, if this lethal poison is completely harmless when drunk, the professor wouldn't have died when he swallowed it, would he?
That's right.
Good gracious. Yeah, that's kind of...
It's basic science. Science that even a schoolboy should be able to understand, no?
Order! Order in the court! Order! The logic holds. If the lady and the professor drank the same poison, they would be affected in the same way. Are you trying to suggest?
Yes, this curare poison is completely irrelevant to the case on trial.
That's right. Surely even a little cockroach like you could understand something as simple as that.
What is this welling up inside me? I've never felt like this before. It's a sort of conviction to break down all the discrepancies. It's so intense, almost rage-like. And more than anything else, it's an animalistic desire to take down my prey.
Woo!
Yes!
I don't think so, Miss Giselle Brett.
How? How dare you use that tone with me?
You know very well that there's no fatal flaw here. You know exactly why, even though both of you and the victim swallowed the same poison. You are alive, but Dr. Wilson is dead. Counsel, I'm sure I don't need to remind you. You must provide compelling evidence. As we now know that this poison is completely harmless when ingested, why would Dr. Wilson alone have been killed by the curare? Curare, sorry. Okay, I believe that's gonna be the proof. I hope I'm right on this. Oh god. Really? I'm sorry, Counsel, but the slipshod manner in which you've tossed that evidence before the court does not inspire confidence. Huh? Listen, Yunosuke, there's no need to overthink this. We know that curari's toxic effects only come into play when the poison enters the body via a wound. Oh my god, I know! Oh, I think I know at least. Right, so that can only mean that when Dr. Wilson drank his glass of water, he must have had a wound somewhere that let the poison in. Oh god, I know. I think I know at least. So we need some evidence that would prove the professor had a wound inside his mouth. Yep, okay, there we go. I get it. Counsel, I'm sure I don't need to remind you. You must provide compelling evidence. Okay. Where was that? Medical report card. As Miss Bretz readily pointed out, she drank the same water as the professor. However, there was a fundamental and fatal difference between the two diners. A fatal difference? The toxic effects of a curare are only felt when the poison enters the body through an open wound. So, for a healthy person with no injuries, drinking it is completely harmless. But what if there was a wound inside the mouth of the person drinking the poisoned water?
Inside?
Yes, like the wound you might have if you had just been to the dentist and had a tooth extracted, for example. Miss Brett, you've acknowledged many times in your testimony already that you were well aware of Dr. Wilson's dental appointment that day. So that's it. You used that knowledge to orchestrate this. Is she laughing?
I don't like to repeat myself, but honestly, I can't resist. These childish courtroom games and your half-baked arguments are also
that word. Wait. Oh my god. How would I say this actually? Puerile? Oh my god, I don't know how to pronounce this word anymore. What the hell? Puerile. I don't know. Okay, we're gonna skip that word and hope she never uses it again. What do you mean?
Don't worry, you little schoolboy. You'll find out soon enough.
What the heck is she?
You see, when you leave vital evidence lying around, you never know what might happen to it.
No!
I mean, it could just slip.
Oh, you little...
Oh dear, how careless of me.
Puerile? Oh wow, that's not an easy pronunciation. But thank you, Tsuki, also welcome.
I'm afraid some crucial evidence may have just been tragically destroyed.
No! What is it? What just happened? It's the English woman! She just smashed that bottle! And in the Supreme Court! What a terrible blunder! Officer, what are you waiting for? Collect up as much of the water from that broken bottle as possible at once. I can't speak, apparently.
You're wasting your time. This delightful carpet under my feet here was a gift from the British Empire. I assure you, it will soak up the water beautifully. You have neither the technology nor the presence of mind to recover it.
How could you? You won't get away with this.
You can thump the bench and shout as much as you like, little boy. But I'm afraid we'll never know now, will we? If there really was poison in the bottle or not.
You.
And let us not forget, we still have some very compelling evidence left intact. Isn't that right, counsel for the prosecution?
Oh, of course. You're referring to this photographic print, I presume, dear lady?
That's right. And really, looking at this photograph, it's as clear as day, isn't it? The poor professor was sitting with his back to me. So of course the only person who could have shot him in from the front is the little schoolboy.
No, you killed the victim that day, using curare. And then, in order to frame Ryunosuke Naruhodo for the crime, you waited until he picked up the pistol you'd arranged for him to find on the floor, before you shot the professor's dead body in the chest with your own hidden gun. Putting H's where I shouldn't, sorry. Then, in the confusion that followed, all you had to do was turn the dead professor and his chair around. You see, you had every opportunity to commit this crime.
What a wonderful imagination you have, young man. A hidden gun, you say? And I shot the professor's dead body, did I? Well, I'm terribly sorry, but you don't have a shred of evidence.
Exactly. And as you have nothing to support your wild claims, the prosecution's stance remains unchanged. The victim, Dr. John H. Wilson, was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Delivered in cold blood by the accused, Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
This is unbelievable. How can this be happening? We had her, but now, is she really going to get away with it? The way she destroyed that evidence was obscene. Ryunosuke. Yes, we've come this far, but now you're the only one who can finish it. What? What do you mean? We've lost a vital piece of evidence, it's true. So if there are any clues left for us to use now, they must be in your head. In my head? You told me before that your powers of observation were the one thing you could really depend upon. Well, yeah, that's true, but I didn't manage to notice that this woman was a foreigner with a swan on her head. So think back again now. Try to remember every last detail about the scene that day. Everything you saw, everything you felt, every color, every smell. What I saw, what I felt, every color. Oh. Is Kazuma right? Somewhere in the vibrant memory of this same scene in my head. Could there be another clue to expose the identity of Dr. Wilson's killer? Shh, okay, I clicked a little too fast on this, I didn't know it was coming. But yeah, probably there is a clue. Actually, Kazuma, I think I might have something. Thinking back over everything I saw, I think I might have uncovered another clue. You always have something up your sleeve, don't you, Ryunosuke? Come on then, let's wipe the smug smile off that English woman's face with some evidence. Alright, I can't wait. It's been niggling me for a while that something feels amiss in my memories of that day. Whatever it is, it could be the key to arriving at the truth about all this. It's here, somewhere. The clue that shows who Dr. Wilson's real killer must have been is... Well, I mean, it looks very suspicious. Inspector Osanaga, answer me this. Yes? What is it? He's still miles away. Probably thinking about that bottle being smashed. As you've said a number of times now, you strive for perfection in your investigations, don't you? Absolutely. I wonder, therefore, if perhaps you took anything else from the scene of the crime. Like, for instance, the plate of steak that you took to the victim's table that day?
Wait a minute.
Where are you going with this, little boy?
It's just a memory that's been troubling me.
What memory? I saw the scene shown in this photographic print with my own eyes that day. And I saw that on the wooden base of the plate that the steak was served on was a spattering of blood.
What?
Oh, really? And what of it? Obviously, that must have happened when you shot the professor. No, that can't be the case. Take a good look at the photograph and the relative position of everything there. The plate of steak is almost directly behind the victim. If I'm supposed to have shot Dr. Wilson in the chest from the front, there's no way that blood from the victim could have ended up directly behind him. Yes. For blood to have made it onto the plate, it implies the plate was between the victim and the shooter. Which means the shooter must have been sitting opposite the professor as you were. Giselle Brett. I beg your pardon?
This is beyond ridiculous. Fabricated nonsense. Is the court seriously expected to believe something the accused has apparently just remembered seeing?
This could be the moment that my entire career in the police force has been leading to. Inspector, you mean? Yes, I took the plate, in the interests of preserving evidence from the scene of the crime. I took it, meat and all, and I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief because of it. You did what? I took the steak that you had been eating, Miss Brett. I took the steak that the sergeant had been eating. And I did it all in the name of justice. Then we can find out for sure whether or not there's a bloodstain on Miss Brett's plate. We must examine it now. Inspector, the court wishes to examine the plate from the victim's table immediately.
Yes, sir.
Or rather, yeah, no, wrong voice, I think. Sorry for the delay. Here's what you ordered, the steak. Well, what about the blood? Is there blood on it?
Of course there isn't.
Quickly, Inspector. The blood, man. Show the court. Of course. Examine the plate at your leisure. Well, I don't see any blood. No. No blood. No blood anywhere. But no, that's impossible! I know I saw it. I'm sure of it. It was right there on the table behind the professor. There was blood on the side of the plate.
What an unbecoming expression, little boy.
You see, this is why I always say you can't trust what the Japanese tell you.
I couldn't agree more. In the case of this disgrace to the Empire.
I believe we may finally have reached a conclusion in this trial. For the 5th time at least.
Let's hope so. This let's pretend attempt at courtroom proceedings is painful to watch. But I do promise to do my best to forget all about it when it's over. This sorry-looking steak reveals the facts all too clearly. If the sorry-looking accused wishes to examine it again, be my guest.
And so shall we. Was the plate I saw, or thought I saw, just a figment of my imagination? Okay, let me give it a quick check. So there's this.
This emblem on the side of the plate. Is it a cat? It's a cow, obviously. Most likely because the restaurant's signature dish is beef steak. It seems a lot of different restaurants have their own unique tableware. So, this is a symbol of La Carnaval, is it? Huh? What is that? Huh? What in the world is this? I think it's a Koban coin, and the hallmark is from the Hoei-Heira, I believe. No, I don't mean what is it. I mean, what's it doing here? Wait, did you say it was a Hoei Koban? Yes, and apart from the meat juices, it looks to be in good condition. I imagine it's very valuable. This isn't the first time today that there's been talk of a Hoei Koban. Right, the collector guy who lost one. I've heard of pearls before swine, but I've never heard of bullion in bouillon. And I don't think you ever will again. This is extraordinary, though. This means this is not the plate that was at this table. At least I don't believe so. Can I click on it again, or is that going to do... Nope, okay, yes. I certainly never expected to find a precious coin underneath this thick cut of meat. And it's from the Hoei-Heira too. That would make it really quite valuable. It's well marinated in the juices as well, look! What, are you thinking of eating it? No, but the next time I order a steak in an expensive restaurant, one thing's for sure. My heart's going to be racing as I lift up the meat and peer underneath for a prize. I think you might have the wrong end of the stick about this, Ryunosuke. A Koban coin underneath this steak. There's only one logical explanation. Yeah, indeed. This is it now. I've lost. Well, no, but... Ryunosuke, it's not over yet. Not until the final gavel. Huh? Never stop believing in yourself. Keep looking forward, no matter what. Believe in myself? Really? Maybe I should at least examine the evidence for myself. Did that. As the evidence requested by the defense has not been shown to be problematic in any way, I presume any further examination of evidence in this trial will be unnecessary. Does the defense have any objection? That blood stain was going to clinch the trial for me. Can this plate of steak reveal any other clues at all? Yes. Your Excellency, please, wait! This plate of beef is hiding another clue. Another clue that will reveal the shocking truth.
The only thing that's shocking here is your unhealthy fascination with beefsteak.
Your Excellency, I think I've made myself clear, haven't I? I will not be able to turn a blind eye to any more unnecessary procrastination in this trial.
I'm sorry, Miss Brett, but we must ensure a thorough examination of the evidence. I will not give a ruling until I'm completely satisfied that all reasonable doubt has been dispelled.
I see. As a newly affirmed ally of my country, that's still your position, is it?
Thank you, Your Excellency. Counsel for the defense, you will now clearly show the court to what you are alluding. Where precisely on this plate of beefsteak is this new clue to be found?
It's the steak!
Well, not really. No, Counsel. I'm afraid that won't do. That was ambiguous at best. When you're asked to identify a detail like this, you must do so knowing you're... Really? What the freak? The answer's right here in front of me, I'm sure of it. There's only one thing to do. Turn this steak over and over. Yeah, literally. Until I find something to help me out of this mess. Okay, what the hell though? Oh, I'm supposed to... Okay, I got it. I'm supposed to click first, and then present. Yeah, okay, I get it, I get it. That was almost too early for the game, apparently. Because it's going through the whole thing again. I guess they didn't expect people to actually check it before they actually... Huh. Good gracious, that's...
Koban?
What on earth? A Hoey era one at that. Miss Brett, this is in fact the beefsteak that you ordered at the restaurant on the day in question, is it? Tell me, why is there an old coin seemingly hidden underneath the meat?
What a ridiculous question! How should I know? I've never seen that thing before in my life. I don't know what this is, but I want no part in it.
I fail to see how this is relevant. A coin under the meat? That could simply have been a careless mistake by the chef in a moment of distraction.
Sure. Don't be absurd. We're supposed to believe that this happened by accident in the kitchen? A rare Hoey Koban just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak? If this turns out to be relevant to the case, I'll rip up my ticket to Great Britain right now. He's right. It can't be a coincidence. Your Excellency. Yes, Counsel? A rare Hoey Koban just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak? If this turns out to be relevant to the case, I'll give up my lawyer job right now.
By all means, don't let us stop you. No one invited you anyway.
Perhaps, little boy, you should realize that it is you who is irrelevant.
Even though I'm the one on trial here. The point is, it's essential that we ask the owner of this coin if he can explain what it's doing under the steak. The owner? Yes, it's obvious. There's only one person it can belong to. The owner of the Koban that was found underneath the beefsteak is... Bah! Obviously, it can only be the antiques dealer and owner of Rasate, Kyuryo Korekuta-san. Gomenne.
Curie? As in Mr. Cucumber something? Honestly, these ridiculous Japanese names are quite unfathomable.
Ah, yes. The old man who testified earlier alongside the military surgeon, correct? Yes, Your Excellency. I remember him saying that he was up to something with his Koban coin when it happened. At exactly the moment the gun was fired. The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor. Too busy on the floor? Sorry, what were you doing? Hunting for treasure.
Indeed, the Hoey era Koban, my prized coin.
Then, this Hoey era Koban, do you mean to tell me?
No. Please, why would Korekuta-san's Koban be sandwiched between the victim's beefsteak and its plate? It makes no sense.
Which is why I'm asking to bring Korekuta-san back to the witness stand, so we can ask him. Officer, bring both witnesses that testified earlier back in here. Without a moment's delay. Do we really need both? I can't believe we've come back round to that pair again. But I have a hunch, a strong hunch, that if we chase down the real significance of this Koban, we'll find that it's a key element in the case. That's a lot of witnesses.
What's this all about? Why have I been called up again? Don't you realize that it's dinner time for little baby Ido? When my son's belly is empty, he's fiercer than a pack of wolves.
Exploited by the police we were, like miserable dogs forced to bear false witness. And when cast from this courtroom myself, I became a ruined man in the trice, a worse, less withered antique. Nothing more have I to say. The sun has set on this Rasute shop owner's existence. Be that as it may, Korekuta-san, something has come to light that requires your clarification. As far as your Rasute memory serves, have you ever...
Yes, that's it. The one, the very exact one that it is. The resplendent, splendiferous hoy treasure that my rusty bones managed to misplace that fateful day. It can't be.
As I thought.
Young man, enlighten this decrepit old fool. Put me out of my misery. Where was my treasure? Where was it dropped?
Oh, I'm not sure if it was dropped anywhere. We found your coin sandwiched between a beefsteak and its plate, soaking in the seasoned meat's juices.
Sandwiched? Soaking? Seriously?
Clearly, it couldn't have fallen there by accident. Which means... somebody must have hidden it there on purpose. Somebody concealed my holy treasure between a slab of meat and a metal plate. Who would do such a thing? Such an unconscionable thing? Excuse me. Could I say something? Yes, of course. Proceed, Inspector Osanaga. I mentioned this earlier on in the trial, but I was working undercover in the restaurant in order to investigate another case.
Ah, yes, that's right. The secret undercover operation.
La Carnival is a high-class Western cuisine restaurant. It attracts wealthy diners, including many foreigners. Recently, there's been a run of similarly executed thefts targeting the restaurant's rich clientele. A number of such incidents have been reported to the police bureau. Wicked crimes indeed. We wanted to nip the case in the bud quickly, especially with so many foreigners being affected. So that's why you were sent in undercover, is it? Yes, I took on the job of waiter at the restaurant in order to flush out the criminal. It seems likely that this Koban incident is the work of the same thief. So unbeknownst to us, there was a master thief at work in the restaurant on a regular basis. The place was already the scene of several crimes, it seems. I don't know about the master thief part, but the identity of the person who stole and hid Korekuta-san's Koban is all too clear.
What?
What? I think the court would like to hear the defense's view on this matter. Tell us, who is the despicable scoundrel that stole Korekuta-san's Koban and hid it under the steak? Okay, oops. Blub, blub, blub. Kind of hesitating between those two, to be honest. Him possibly by mistake, and him maybe not him, unless he's the actual thief. Who knows? That could be, or it could be even the baby. I don't know. At that point, anything's possible, I think. I I mean, he was supposedly there too, so that makes little sense. Gosh. I mean, I like the two ideas, but okay, I'm gonna try that. Yes, seems like a likely candidate for Koban thief. No, come on, Yonosuke. Huh? You shocked me, Kazuma. Not as much as you shocked me. No one could have approached the table unnoticed. Even if you're a crazy fool, you couldn't have missed that. I'm not sure you should be calling Kurikita-san a crazy fool, Kazuma. It's you I was calling the crazy fool. Maybe I'm on the wrong track here. Okay, well, then there's only one other possibility, I think. I don't believe I can have heard you correctly, Counsel. Let me let me hear your opinion on this matter again. Well then... Obviously, it can only be you. Sergeant Iesanosa. What? How? How dare you? You monster! Monster? I stole that Koban, did I? I'm the master thief of La Carnival, am I? You're seriously accusing me of those crimes, cadet? But it wasn't me. It was Aido! Aido is the mastermind behind all this. I knew it, it's the baby! You would push the blame for your crimes onto your own son? An innocent little baby? It's you who's the monster, Sergeant Nosa. He's going to explode. Clippity clop, clippity clop, clippity clop, clippity clop, clippity blah blah blah, can't even do it. God. Uh-oh. Seriously? No! Nippon Imperial Army, Sergeant Yasano-sa. Preparing to stand down in the Supreme Court, sir. Oh, what the hell? Do any of you know of the extraordinarily low wages the Nippon Imperial Army pays those it expects to keep our country safe? I understand that the temporary increase in taxation owing to the recently ended conflicts remains in place. And I have heard it's hard for lower-ranking soldiers to make a living, yes. All I want is to put a hot meal on the table for my son. That's why you were stealing things at the restaurant? The place is heaving with money. Every 3 days I'd go there and do reconnaissance for targets. And I'd enjoy chomping my way through a good steak at the same time. It sounds like he doesn't bother with a knife and fork even, which is worryingly believable. And your target that day was the old man and his Koban? Yes, sir. He was an easy mark. I slipped a coin into my pocket without any trouble at all. A veritable phantom thief you are. I was all set to leave the steak. I was halfway through devouring when it happened. Yes, when the professor was shot. I knew that if the police conducted a search and found the coin in my pocket, I'd be finished. Aido too. So I hid the incriminating evidence as fast as I could, on the double. I slipped it under the steak, hoping that I'd be able to rendezvous with it again at a later date. This is ridiculous. Perhaps you could carry on with this absurd prattling in your own time? Well, Miss Brett?
Oh, of course, dear lady, of course. How rude of us. I'm quite sure there's no need to detain you any longer at all. Very esteemed gentlemen, please be excused, Your Excellency.
Indeed. The theft of the Koban was clearly perpetrated by this baby-saddled sergeant. It would certainly appear to be unrelated to Dr. Wilson's murder.
Of course it is. Hiding a coin under a lump of meat. The sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me.
Nonsense, is it?
Well...
And as for picking up your steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork, it's beyond nonsense. It's pure madness.
Very well. Now that all questions concerning this witness's testimony have been answered, I see no further justification for detaining her. Miss Brett, you are free to leave.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Good luck, everyone. And good day.
Yunosuke, what's the matter with you? There's no time for daydreaming. Oh, no, it's just... something about Miss Brett's parting words there got me thinking. I can't quite work out what exactly, but something she said jarred with me. I feel like there was a contradiction in there somewhere. Something didn't quite add up. If that's the case, don't just stand there thinking. Make your voice heard. Sorry? You can think later, but if you don't call out now, it'll be too late. The trial will be over. Wait, Miss Brett!
What is it now?
I'm afraid, just one last time. There's something I'd like to ask you. I'd like you to explain the contradiction in your parting words from just a few moments ago.
What are you talking about? What contradiction?
What new student nonsense is this?
Well, what parting words are you talking about, Yunosuke?
Hiding a coin under a lump of meat? The sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me. And as for picking up your steak and biting into it without using a knife and a fork? It's beyond nonsense. It's pure madness.
Yes, I'm right. What she said there exposed an undeniable contradiction. Shotomate. I think I have an idea. Wait. I mean, no, I'm not sure where they're going. I'm going to need to see evidence, Counsel. If Miss Brett's words truly are contradictory, where is the evidence to prove it?
Oh my god.
Okay. Coin under picking up your steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork. It's beyond nonsense. It's pure madness. Biting into it without using a knife and fork. That's gotta be the thing, right? I don't know, maybe I'm getting a little tired, but jeez, I'm having trouble. Wow, I'm so lost. Anyone in the chat who feels like helping me is welcome to do so. Guess I'd hopefully someone who
actually hasn't played the game yet, because that would be a little too easy, unless you can drop like really light hints. And otherwise, yeah, no, feel free to throw hypotheses out there. I mean, intuitively, because it's all about the fork and the knife, I want to go for this one. But at the same time, I don't really have any precise idea of what I'm going with, so... She said there, exposed an undeniable contradiction. I don't get it. Wow. What? Beep, 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 boom. Beep, 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 beep. Seriously, anyone? Okay, Tsuki. Probably irrelevant, but that looks like a butter knife, not a steak knife. Yeah, actually, that's... I don't know, it might not be relevant, actually, because this... I think early on in the case, I had that same thought. I mean, then again, I know of... I mean, there are knives like this, like especially in, say, what's it called, like cantinas kind of things, like small restaurants, where they're not actually going to use, you know, they use teeth things. But I don't even see any teeth here for sure, so... Yeah. And also, I noticed way back then that there was something on it, which of course could be juice, which... But, you know, in this context... okay, also teeth marks on one steak, or both? Teeth marks on one steak. Oh. Wait a minute. I mean, does that look like teeth marks? I guess it does. It's like chomp. Chomp. So for that one, that means that yes, he did... Oh, well, maybe that's the thing. If he indeed ate without a fork and a knife, and that's what we're seeing here, then the fact that here we're seeing pretty much the same thing means that this plate that we're seeing here is definitely not the original plate. Yeah, and also the fact... Yeah, okay, I think you got it. You totally nailed it, I think. And if not, the game is stupid. Because that's the thing, we see a fork, we see a knife, so I'm going to assume that it's not actually a butter knife. That's not the problem. That's supposed to be a proper knife, somehow. The problem is, if there's a fork and a knife, then why is the steak... Why does the steak look like it's been eaten as is, with just teeth? Yeah. No, that's gotta be it. And that would prove that there's been a change of plate, and as such the steak as well, yeah. So the bloodied one has been probably put on the other table or just hidden somewhere else, I don't know. Anyway, let's go with this. Thank you for your help. I mean, assuming that's it, but I think it is. A photographic print of the scene taken immediately after the incident occurred. What's interesting is the plate of steak that you can see on the victim's table. The steak that Miss Brett had been eating before the professor was killed, yes. Go on. More accurately, Your Excellency. Just before the professor was killed.
No eaters.
Or are we? Not true. Doesn't something about this steak strike you as very unnatural?
Unnatural? What on earth do you mean?
It's extremely obvious. I'm talking about the shape of the edge where it's been eaten. I see you've noticed it too, Miss Brett.
Noticed what exactly, Counsel?
Just a few moments ago, Miss Brett claimed no Englishman could even contemplate picking up a steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork.
Of course she did. She's a refined English gentlewoman herself.
Then take a good look at this steak, in particular the edge where it's been eaten. As you can see, there are clearly defined barbaric teeth marks here there.
Oh.
Ah! It looks like Miss Brett has realized something. So, if the witness, as she claims, wouldn't contemplate eating anything without using a knife and fork, there shouldn't be teeth marks in the steak at all.
But what is your actual point? Perhaps the delightful Miss Brett was ravenously...
Using a little handkerchief now?
Oh, whatever you say, dear lady.
As I said, I really must be leaving now. Afternoon tea with the Minister of Justice cannot possibly wait any longer.
Of course, of course. This will be all over in the blink of an eye. Rest assured, I'm about to put this rookie in his place.
I've heard enough. You irritating little spectacled samurai relic.
Of course, dear lady.
What's the matter, Miss Brett? Have we ruffled your feathers? Clearly, the witness knows what this means. She's realized the catastrophic implications these teeth marks in the steak have for her. Yunosuke, do you know where you're going with this? Yes, now at last it's all come together. The mysterious teeth marks in a steak that had allegedly been eaten with cutlery. The reason why the blood stain I know I saw somehow seems to have disappeared. And most importantly, the evidence that proves once and for all who shot Dr. Wilson that day.
I accept that these teeth marks in the steak are a little unnatural, as you put it, Counsel. But what exactly are you suggesting that tells us?
Everything, Your Excellency.
Everything?
Yes, I believe that these barbaric teeth marks in the steak here amount to conclusive evidence in this case. Evidence that will prove beyond any doubt who shot Dr. Wilson.
Conclusive evidence? How many times have I heard that today?
She's not wrong.
You wouldn't know the meaning of the phrase. Typical Japanese empty threats.
How can you be so sure?
Oh, it's quite simple. If you really had such conclusive evidence, you would have presented it to the court long ago.
Actually, the evidence I'm talking about hasn't been brought before the court yet.
Hasn't been what?
But just because it hasn't been shown yet, doesn't mean that the evidence does not exist.
This is absurd. The trial has run several hours already. And you say there's evidence yet to be brought forward? You can't be. I don't believe you have it.
I don't, but there is someone who does have it. Someone in this very courtroom. And if that person is willing to submit the piece of evidence I'm referring to, it will solve every remaining mystery about this case.
Very well. I have a feeling this will be my last request of the defense in this trial. Who possesses the conclusive evidence that will reveal the truth about this whole affair?
Well, it should be this guy, I think, because he's always a baby. I mean, I have one chance left. I mean, two, technically. Hopefully. The answer is obvious. It's Inspector Osonaga.
What? I have it?
Yes.
You think I've been withholding conclusive evidence? That's ridiculous.
No, I'm not saying that. Everyone's attention has been focused on the steak while it was the teeth marks.
Yes.
Now, earlier this afternoon, Sergeant Nosa told the court the following. I'd enjoyed chomping my way through a good steak, and as well as admitting to stealing Korekita-san's coin, he told us that he slipped it under the steak.
You watch it, cadet. I'm a superior officer.
Sergeant Nosa, could you please confirm something for me? Was the steak that you put the coin under, in fact, your own steak?
Attention! Affirmative, of course. I might be a soldier in the Imperial Nippon Army, but still. I'm not brave enough to ask a foreign gentlelady if she'd mind me manhandling her meal to hide something in it.
In other words, the steak that the detective submitted as evidence earlier was in fact Sergeant Nosa's meal.
But that makes no sense. That plate was taken from the victim's stable.
Yet the gentlewoman doesn't take bites out of her steak, nor did she have any opportunity to steal the coin. Of course I didn't steal it. To even suggest such a thing would be an affront to the entire British Empire.
Well then, how do you explain this paradox?
Exactly. Surely you're not going to suggest that the sergeant switched the two steaks over?
Not quite.
You did switch the plates?
Well, after it happened,
So it was actually him? Oh no.
when I saw the civilian had been murdered right in front of my eyes like that, I panicked. As I said, I immediately lifted my steak and hid the coin underneath it. But then, when the waiter announced he was an undercover policeman, I thought I'd had it. If he decided to investigate my slab of meat, that'd be it. I'd be getting my marching orders. So when the cadet here was arrested and taken off to the kitchen, I seized my chance. With military precision and timing, I switched my steak with the one on the foreign lady's table.
What? You can't have. I never saw you do such a thing.
It was called Operation Lightning Bolt. There was no time for strategic planning. It was do or die, I tell you. So yes, I did what had to be done.
Unbelievable!
However, fear not, Prosecutor-san.
What now?
I swear on the brass buttons in my uniform, that is all I did, sir.
Oh, you did? That's plenty, Sergeant.
So, if Sergeant Nosa switched the plates over, it means he took Miss Brett's steak and the plate it was on back to his own table.
Yes, that follows.
Inspector Osonaga.
Yes.
Earlier in this trial, you told the court this. You said that you had not only taken Miss Brett's steak after the incident, but also the surgeon's. That to preserve evidence, you had taken both.
That's correct.
Then please present it to the court now. The plate that was actually on the victim's table at the precise moment he was shot. What can that possibly tell us now? I mean, a cold slab of tough meat? It can't have the slightest bearing on the case.
No, you're not wriggling your way out of this time, lady.
I beg your pardon?
Surely you're not that forgetful. Surely you remember the reason why the steak pan promises to prove such a problem for you, no?
You're the ones who decided it was a problem, not me.
The reason the defense asked to see that plate was to confirm something the defendant remembers seeing.
Thinks he remembers.
I'm
quite sure of what I saw, Miss Brett. On the side of the plate that was on the table directly behind Dr. Wilson, there was a clear spattering of blood from the gunshot wound to the victim's chest. I believe the defendant's memory serves him well. And now we have the evidence to prove it. The plate you were eating from, Miss Brett. Let us not prolong this any further. Inspector, you will show the evidence to the court. Present the beefsteak and plate that was originally on the victim's table at the time of the incident. Yes, sir. Sorry for keeping you. Here is the other steak and its plate. Please, feel free to examine it. Well, it looks properly cut, and there is something on it. The blood stain. It's clearly visible, look! Now, this makes everything clear. The blood you can see on the side of the plate shows that at the moment the victim was shot, he was facing the table with his back to me. In other words, it's impossible for Naruhodo-san to have shot the victim.
It can't be.
In fact, there's only one person who could possibly have shot Dr. Wilson from the front. I'm sure everyone knows by now who that person is. That's right. Miss Giselle Brett. It's you!
Outdone by a Japanese. Me? By a Japanese schoolboy? No, no, no! Oh my god. What the fuck? Sunshine. Yes, little chickies.
And he gets the black one.
Oh. Hello, Tiefling. Please excuse my little outburst. I briefly lost my composure. Most unbecoming behavior for an English gentlewoman. Forgive me.
Well, Miss Brett, I think it's time you told the court what actually happened that day. The truth, this time.
Gladly, Your Excellency. It was I who took the professor's life using curare. As you surmised, I chose that particular day for one very important reason. The professor had a dental appointment for the extraction of one of his teeth in the morning.
So you planned to kill the professor, knowing that no trace of poison would be found in his water. Because curare is unheard of here in Japan.
Yes. Of course, I never intended to remain at the restaurant for as long as I did. I only needed to see the professor take one tiny sip of his water, and it would all be over. However, before any of that happened, there was an unexpected visitor at the professor's table.
That would be me, I suppose.
Yes, you. Who else? Such a trifling matter, but the fact that you decided to come over to greet the professor meant that I had lost my chance to slip away unnoticed. In due course, the professor took a sip of his water and was paralyzed. I made sure he was sitting in his chair such that he wouldn't fall. There was no going back at that point. So I concocted a plan on the spur of the moment.
A plan to pin Dr. Wilson's murder on this innocent man.
I happened to know that the professor always carried a gun. I decided to use that fact to my advantage. I had the bottle of curare in my handbag, and my own pistol concealed under my skirt.
Under your skirt?
So I was right. There were two guns.
Yes.
And then I finished my coffee and got up to leave. That's when I noticed the professor's gun, which you had presumably placed on the floor. Placed where you were sure that I would notice it.
And everything went according to plan. You noticed the gun as I'd intended. And then, just as you bent down to pick it up,
that's when you shot the professor with your own gun. Even though at that point he was already dead.
naturally, the gunshot caused a commotion, at which point the waiter appeared.
Obviously, I assumed Naruto-san was the culprit and apprehended him. I took him to the pantry that adjoins the kitchen and locked him inside.
That's when I took the opportunity to turn the professor and his chair around.
Because of course, you needed to make it look like the defendant had shot Dr. Wilson from where it picked up the gun.
So there you have it. That is the entirety of my misdemeanor. Your Excellency,
Yes?
I wonder, might I speak with you in private later?
I shall call on you.
Thank you. Good day then, everyone. I hope you can forgive me, Naruhodo-san.
It would seem this trial has finally run its course. I presume the prosecution is in agreement.
This can't be. Taketsushi Aochi does not lose. Not to the likes of this rookie student.
You'd better start getting used to tough opposition.
Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
What? Yes?
This insult to the Aochi family name will never be forgotten.
You've become conceited with age, Counsel, but the old have to stand aside and make way for the new. It's the way of the world. May you never forget that. Whoa, 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 whoa. Wow, literally attacking him in court. Well done, dude. 1,000 millennia may pass, and still the Aochi clan will never measure up to the Naruhodo clan. Well, yeah, that's true. If you've played the other games, you know how true that is. This trial in the Supreme Court of Japan will, I believe, go down in history as the start of a new chapter in our country's judicial system. Despite being summoned as the accused, you, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, presented an excellent case. Thank you, Your Excellency. The use of evidence and deduction to unravel the truth is a modern methodology. Of After all, it has only been a few short decades since our country opened its doors to the wider world. But the Western ideas of science are rapidly gaining acceptance here. I feel sure that science will soon bring new methods of investigation and new procedures of justice. A new future of law awaits, but what it will look like, I cannot begin to imagine. That is for the young to pursue. Kazuma Asogi. Yes. After this trial, you are set to embark on a journey of discovery to the illustrious British Empire. Learn all you can. Absorb everything of the wider world that you are able to. And do not forget to fulfill the mission imposed upon you. I understand, Your Excellency.
What was that about? Why'd you look so grave all of a sudden?
Never mind. As for you, Ryunosuke Naruhodo,
Oh, yes?
in you I sense, how can I put it, unusual potential. I very much look forward to seeing how you carry that onwards.
Thank you, Your Excellency.
It is time to deliver the final verdict. I hereby find the defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, not guilty.
Woo!
This court is now adjourned. 22nd November, 2:46 p.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Defendant's Antechamber 5.
I can't believe it. I can't believe what's happened. I made it. I defended myself and made it through that horrendous trial.
Ryunosuke, you finally pulled it off. Congratulations.
Well, I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you, Kazuma.
No, it was a pleasure to watch you at work. So, you owe me an extra large sukiyaki from the place on Yume University Street, don't forget. I don't know who that is. After all your hard work has certainly paid off. That's the guy... No, that's the lady.
Congratulations to both of you for proving Naruhodo-san's innocence.
Ah, our trusty judicial assistant. You worked hard for that result, too, you know?
Oh no, I didn't do anything. Thank you
Oh, whoops. Thank you so much! If we hadn't had that research report of Miss Brett's, I don't know how things would have turned out.
Your kind words should really be for my father. I was simply doing as he asked. It was his idea for me to go to the university and investigate.
Your father? Ah, yes, of course.
Forgive me for intruding on court proceedings, Your Excellency. Susato Mikotoba, Judicial Assistant to the Defense.
Speaking of Mikotoba...
Ah, there you are. I believe congratulations are in order. Naruhodo, you did an excellent job.
Thank you, Professor.
Oh no, it is I who should be thanking you. After all, your efforts exposed the true criminal that took the life of my good friend.
Good friend? Oh yes, you mentioned that before. It was you who actually invited Dr. Wilson to Yume University, wasn't it?
Yes, that's right.
Professor Mikotoba studied overseas himself. He went to study forensic medicine in Great Britain. Presumably, that's when you met Dr. Wilson?
Exactly. In those days, we worked together in the same hospital.
Oh, you worked together?
I've never heard you mention that before. Well, it was a long time ago now. Besides, in It's your turn, Asogi. Great Britain is a magnificent country. It leads the world in science, medicine, engineering, culture, and of course, in law. Watch and learn, my boy. See what's happening in the world's largest melting pot. I will. I'll learn all that I can. I swear on this, the spirit of the Asogi clan. You're not taking that sword to Great Britain, are you? Of course I am. A Japanese man's katana is his soul. This blade shows me where I need to go. It cuts down anything that's in my way. Yes, I've definitely seen how sharp it is already with my own eyes. That reminds me, what's happened to the woman? To Giselle Brett, I mean. After all, she's guilty of murder. Ah, yes, her. It's not easy to tell you this, but... What do you mean? Surely she's going to face trial herself now. She's the true culprit, after all. She will be leaving Japan in the very near future, for Shanghai. What? Shanghai? Giselle Brett will not appear in court again in this country. I'm certain of that. What? But why not? Oh, who is this? Matter of consular jurisdiction. Oh, it's a matter of whatever he said. Inspector Hosonaga. It was a hard-fought battle in the courtroom today. Very impressive to watch. I must congratulate... But what's this all about, consular jurisdiction? We cannot try this particular foreigner for her crimes here in Japan. What? We can't try her? But then, who? Who's going to bring her to justice? A British consular court will hear her case, somewhere far away where our voices can be heard. But why a consular court? Professor, I simply don't understand. I thought consular courts were a thing of the past now that we've signed the Friendship Treaty. Yes, in normal circumstances, you're right. Then, so long as this is not a serious incident of a highly political nature to our respective governments, they can't invoke a consular court just like that. Oh, yes, she's a student, but it doesn't justify our governments making secret agreements about her fate, does it? Something strange is going on. So Miss Brett can't be held accountable for her actions here in Japan? I'm afraid that for the young student, today's trial was nothing more than a game all along. There was never any danger of comeuppance for her. I don't believe it. The British government's Foreign Affairs Ministry has demanded that we hand over custody of Miss Brett. They're obviously taking this case of a foreign student committing murder very seriously. But it's all going to change from now on. We can make it change. This is a time of great turmoil. This new era heralded by the start of the 20th century. One day, I have no doubt, that woman will receive the judgment she deserves. Yes, change is coming, and we're the ones driving it. Well, I think that's enough seriousness for now. This evening calls for a celebratory drink. But, Professor... You're right, this is no time for gloomy faces. We should be celebrating Rinosuke's not guilty verdict. Let's start having some fun. In that case, might I suggest La Carnival? As the head waiter, I should be delighted to provide you with ample food and drink. You're Detective Hosonaga-san, aren't you? Let's not worry about details for now. To La Carnival! Will you accompany us, Professor? Of course! The Carnival's food is second to none.
I shall go and attend to the paperwork for Naruhodo-san's release.
Oh yes, thank you. So Giselle Brett won't be tried here. I suppose that means I'll never know. I'll never find out why she killed Dr. Wilson. Kazuma. Oh, Kazuma. Yes, Rinosuke? I just wanted to say thanks again, that's all. You really saved my skin today. I didn't do a thing. You were the lawyer in there, weren't you? That defense was all your own work. Your skills made the difference, though. One day I bet you'll be the best lawyer in the world. I'm not so sure about that. To be honest, something kept occurring to me over and over again during the trial. I couldn't help thinking that maybe you're the one destined to become a great lawyer, not me. What? Come on, be serious. If I helped you today, it was only right at the very start of the trial. But you have a natural talent for it. For being a defense lawyer, I mean. Oh, no, not me. All that tense verbal combat? I never want to go through that ever again. I did what you told me to do, that's all. Because I knew I could trust you. That's the point. Sorry? What do you mean, that's the point? Listen, Yunosuke. Do you know what the most crucial weapon is that any lawyer needs in order to win? Knowledge of the law? No. The ability to believe. To believe? To believe what? A defense lawyer has to fight for his clients. He has to believe in them at all times. Like you believed in me when I said I didn't do it? I'm human, just like you. I don't have some superhuman ability to know the truth. But you have to make a choice about what to believe in and stick to it when you're defending someone. Sometimes in the courtroom, you can really be backed into a corner. But being able to remain faithful to what you chose to believe in, even then, well, that's not something that anyone can do. It takes a special kind of person. Believing in your client. Just look at today's trial. I'm a student lawyer with precious little real experience, but you never stopped believing in me. Well, You faced seemingly hopeless situations time and again, but you never stopped looking for the truth. And in the end, you found it, through your own efforts, and because you never stopped believing in me. Thanks, Kazuma. There's something I want to ask you, actually, Ryunosuke. Well, it's a favor, really. Something very important to me. It sounds serious. What is... Ah, you're still here, are you? Oh, Inspector Hosonaga. I've arranged some rickshaws for us. Let's go. Thank you. We'll be right there. Let's pick up this conversation again later. We should be celebrating right now. Your first scored victory. And your study tour to Great Britain, don't forget. Ah, yes, that too. So, my very first trial came to an end. Kazuma. Professor Mikotoba. Susato-san, who acted as my assistant. Inspector Hosonaga, who didn't really play much of a part, but still. It was because of the help and support of all these people that I managed to get through that trial. But more importantly, Kazuma hadn't yet managed to ask his favor of me. Little did I realize just how much it would change my life. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Episode 1 finished. Thank you, Tsuki, for the help. Gosh, that came just at the right time. That was a very, very astute observation. I mean, it just actually the teeth thing is what really did it, if I remember correctly. But yeah, nice work. Can you be my Kazuma? Okay, well, that was good. That was definitely very, very much in the spirit of the original Ace Attorney trilogy. So yeah, what you've seen is basically what to expect from the series. It's courtroom drama. It is, set up in a way where no, not everything is going to be perfectly. I mean, the whole law thing is sometimes, takes a little step back just for the drama to happen. The characters are going to be extremely colorful. That's definitely very much a thing from the series. That's supposed to be part of the fun. Just a tutorial. Well, I mean, it's the first episode. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, every game of the series that I've played, the first episode acts like a tutorial, but it's also its own full-on case. So we probably even haven't seen everything, like every mechanic that the game has to offer at that point. Usually that tends to come up in episode 2 and usually stabilizes in that one, if my memory serves. But yes, I don't know if I have much else to say, but yeah, I mean, if you've enjoyed what you've seen so far, then by all means keep coming, because there's probably going to be more of that down the line. So and there's much more to go through. I mean, that took 3 sessions to go through. Was cut up in 3 parts. Usually subsequent episodes tends to be even longer than that. It keeps getting longer and longer usually. And I mean, there's supposed to be 5 episodes. Wait, 6? No, okay, 5, and then 5 more for the second game that's included in this compilation of sorts. Yeah, because the games were originally released on 3DS, I think, and then they've combined the both of them and translated them for worldwide release, or at least in the US and Europe, and probably other places, but that's the 2 I know of. Boop. So, well, that's gonna be it for this stream for today. Again, I mean, I'm definitely enjoying myself with this, so that's going to be a recurring stream for sure. I'm definitely going to be going through the rest of the episodes later on. So thanks for coming, thanks for watching. Thank you to the lurkers as well. I'm starting to learn how Twitch deals with the whole viewer count and so on. I'm getting the sense that there's actually way more people watching than it even displays at that point. So to anyone who might not be counted even by Twitch officially, still thanks for being there. And if anyone in there happens to be someone who's followed me recently on Twitch, thank you as well, because I actually have not had the occasion to thank people for that yet, mostly because it's not as obvious to me when it happens as when you have, the whole OBS setup where you get alerts and such. So I tend to notice that after the stream, where it's a little too late. So yeah, thank you to everyone. And well, Tsuki is is quicker than me on this one, but he's absolutely right. No objection to this. and we're going for an Otsu. And see you next time.